Hi Mai, and welcome to day one of the Secondary School Championships. Looking forward to all the action that's going to unfold before us. First up, we're going to have single A girls, Taiatea Wharekura versus Opunake High School. And then following that, we're going to have double A boys action, Rangitoto College versus Scots College. Let's send it upstairs and get underway. Kia ora and welcome back to Fly Palmy Arena in the Manawatu. Andrew Horrocks alongside former Manawatu Jet and Otago Nugget, Stacey Lambert. Stacey, I see you've been around the courts a bit this morning. What stood out to you so far?
Kia ora, Andrew. Just like to join you in welcoming everybody here to watch this event. This morning on court one we had Manukura versus Stratford High, and as expected, Manukura were the winners for the North Islands in the single A's. They were convincing winners in that one. And then the game after that on court one also we had St Peter's Cambridge versus Mount Albert Grammar, where St Peter's Cambridge were just far too strong. Again, probably as to be expected. So yeah, it was hard to get around to all of the games, but a lot of cool energy, a lot of nerves probably in the first game. But yeah, fantastic to see.
Right, we'll get into the team list. First, Stacey, if you could take us through Taiatea Wharekura.
Sure. At number 4, we've got Anui Hayes Tuopiki, 5, Caitlin Gable, 9, Vipika Edwards, 7, Piki Te Aroha Lewis, 8, Sina Gabel Te Vale, number 10, Hine Maioha Rolliston Gable, number 11, Tia Homai Ohia, number 12, Maya Graham, number 13, Tuiaria Blazer Horo, and number 14, rounding off the team there, Te Paia Mau. Coach, of course, Aaron Edwards, and assistant coach, Koha Lewis.
And then for Opunake High School, we've got number 20, Bella Pivac, 21, Georgia Symes, 23, Holly Gassong, 24, Jamie Winiera, 25, Bethany Cook, 30, Tessa Cook, 32, Anna Bright, 33, Lily Bright, 34, Paige Taylor, head coach, Simone Cook, assistant coach, Liz Gasson. I was chatting to you before, Stacey, you've got quite a colourful history in this tournament as a player, second, and then you're part of that assistant coach in that famous Rangitoto versus Palmy boys game in 2016.
Yes, I have been fortunate to be a part of the finals twice, and that was the key number, was coming second, but nevertheless awesome to be a part of. That was back in 1993.
Whereabouts was that one?
It was in Nelson, the 1993 Nationals. And then the year after that it was in Wanganui. And that's when Boys High from Palmerston North, one of the local teams here, they won their first national title. Backed it up the year after as well. Of course, but that was back in the time when Church College were just dominating absolutely everything. It was always good to see them dominating too, and sad they're not around anymore.
I always do find it funny whenever you go through the list of previous winners and it's just blocks where it's just Church College for about 5-6 years. Yep. You were saying before it's difficult to get around these courts. From Auckland, we are unlucky when you top out about 6 courts, which is Bruce Palmerston Arena is our biggest venue. How lucky are you to have a venue of this size?
Look, I was walking around town last night and you can already feel the vibe in the city. We're very fortunate to have such an amazing venue that has, I think, in its prime, over 13 courts that we can use in the one venue. This is a bit of a maze to get from one side to the other, and sometimes you miss some games, starts of games, but yeah, very fortunate to have an awesome venue here at Palmy Venues.
You talked about the maze. Have they renamed some of the courts? Because I feel like all the court names have changed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, this one that we're in right now was originally called the Rainbow Stadium. This was erected first, and then everything's kind of added on over the years. And different sponsors sponsor different sections of it.
No, that's awesome. I think anytime you can get a venue of this, given how much the sport of basketball is growing, I think that's always an awesome thing. So You guys are fortunate. Rest of the country, we need to find ways to get courts like this.
No, we don't want that to happen because we want the Nationals to keep coming to Palmerston North.
Absolutely, I love being down here. I mean, you said it, it's the buzz changes. I feel like this is the most special of all the tournaments that BBNZ run. I remember previously to 2019, I'd only ever been to age group representative tournaments and then had the fortunate opportunity to come here, and like you said, it's something different.
The players just seem to have a bit more time together over the years rather than in the rep teams, and there's just probably a bit more school pride.
So just before we tip off how they got here, this was actually a third and fourth playoff from the North Island Single A Girls qualifiers, and Taiatea Wharekura actually got that one. So Stacey, I always like to get a little prediction out of my co-commentator. Who do you think's going to come out on top in this game one?
Look, I'm going to have to go with my blood. I have some whakapapa links to Opunake, and Opunake went down last time, so I think they'll be fighting to get back. I'm gonna back them in this one.
Of course, just want to thank our host association, Basketball Manawatu. Our venue, this is the Central Energy Trust Arena in Palmerston North. And then, of course, sponsors, Molten, Bailey's, New Zealand Carbon Farming, Caltex and Apollo Projects. And then, of course, as always, My FM and Glory League. You didn't have Glory League back when you were playing, Stacey, but if you had that in high school, how good would that have been?
Oh man, it is such an amazing tool. You know, the kids watch their game, they can get instant feedback about how they're playing, what they're doing. To watch games and learn from other players, it's an awesome tool.
100% agree. Just waiting on a couple of things. I think we need a couple more score bench people. I'm saying that though, the volunteers have done an absolutely fantastic job so far in the first two rounds. Just run you through some scores from the other courts. So in the AA girls, Sacred Heart, Lower Heart going down 35-77 to Takapuna Grammar School. And then, as you said, St. Peter's Cambridge toppling Mount Albert Grammar 89-21. In the boys, Christ College 113 over Kashmir High School 65. And Te Kura Aute Kutu in a very tight contest up against Hornby College 82-73. And Pairoa College taking down Matakura 65-59. Stacey, that could be a bit of an upset, couldn't it? Given how Matakura's done in the last few years.
Yeah. Matakura were the winner of the North Islands here, so they've started a little bit with lacking a little bit of energy. I was talking to Coach Miles Pearce. They came back from 15 to 20 down, and he was a bit disappointed they didn't get some box outs in the last few minutes. That really came down to the crunch. They got some work ahead of them.
Not always that first game conventionally. I remember 2017. Was it 2017 or 2018 when Rosamond lost their very first game of the tournament to Mags, and then they just went on and dominated everyone and won the final. I think from memory of about 50 points. So
wow. Those
those first games, as you said, those nerves. If you can get those out of the way, then it can completely change the rest of your tournament.
Yeah, these young athletes are very talented, far more talented than when I was 1993 when I was at high school, but they are still young, developing adults, and yeah, sometimes the nerves can get the better of you.
I feel like it happens even when you're an adult, right? I mean, obviously I never reached the level that you got to, but I always just feel I've always just got those little nerves sitting there somewhere.
Yeah, and learning how to channel those, right, and into some kind of positive action. Probably all stems from the positive thinking, which is what sports is really great at developing in young people. Getting them out there, trying their hardest at something, being challenged, and, you know, at the end of the day, walking off the court, and it's only a game, but you try your hardest and learn from it.
If you do want more information on the Secondary School Nationals, please visit the Basketball New Zealand website, www.nz.basketball. And of course, across all social media platforms. So if you want to update results, tournament information, and photos from them, check out the Basketball New Zealand Facebook page, Instagram, and follow them on Twitter at BasketballNZ. Tag us in your post and use the hashtag SSNats. So how they got there, so the qualifying mechanism. We'll go through actually all four of them, shall we? So for A boys, They're in the North Island. There are 7 teams that qualify from the North Island and then 5 from the South Island, so 12 teams. Same with the girls, 7 from the North Island, 5 from the South Island. And then for the AAs, the biggest schools from Zone 1, which is basically Auckland up. 7 boys teams qualify, 6 girls. Zone 2, which was hosted in Rotorua, 5 boys teams and 6 girls teams. Zone 3, which is an ASB Arena Wellington, 6 boys, 6 girls. And then in Zone 4, which was actually hosted in Invercargill this year by Southland, 6 boys and 6 girls teams. Looks like we are just about ready to get underway. They've reset the clock.
Andrew, what is the difference between single A and double A schools?
I'm glad you asked, actually, while I try and find the sheet of favour. So for AA schools, it's more than 300 of single sex or 600 of co-ed. So what they did is they actually created the A Nationals, I think it was in 2007, so that schools that were of a smaller stature and couldn't quite make it to the AA Nationals, that they'd still have something else that they can go for, which I think is actually an awesome thing.
Yeah, absolutely support you on that. There's some great players still playing in single A's.
I was just looking through the tournament teams from the last time that we had Nationals in 2019. You know, the likes of Missy Nuku, who was on the Fire this year, and then on the boys' side, Jack Andrew, who's now a development player over in the Australian NBL. For them to get those opportunities in secondary school at a smaller age group Nationals is immense. So, right, we're just about to get underway here in the Kemu, and it is going to be Opunake that'll start us off. Little drive and no good there. And away come Taiatea Wharekura. And just a few nervy starts there on both the offensive end. Anytime you're on the televised games. Mum and Dad watching at home. It'll get to you a little bit.
A couple of quick shots early in the game.
I see a bit of full court pressure as well from Taiatea Wharekura. A little on-ball action there to the hoop. Oh, lovely wrap-around pass. And again, that basket just still being closed. That was Bethany Cook with a lovely pass there. And looks like a bit of a 2-3 zone there from Opunake.
Yep, Opunake into the 2-3 zone.
So whenever you're in a 2-3, Stacey, what are you trying to stop? As we see an and one there. Beautiful finish. What are you looking at when you're running a 2-3?
Well, I guess when a 2-3, you're kind of giving up an easy pass to the wing, so you're having 3 players at the back really, and trying to keep the middle blocked up and force the players a little bit, give them a bit more freedom on the outside, but not allowing internal passing and posting up and stuff.
Good offensive rebound there from Ohio. Lovely ball movement and the finish there from Lewis. And Taiatea Wharekura starting the holder of the 2. Let's see what Opunake can come back with. As we see Wahine to Wahine defense there, forcing up the shot, and again offensive rebounds from both sides.
Yeah, Taiatea will want to change that pretty quickly. Have to get boxing out.
And the kick ahead pass there, just a bit too far forward for Edwards to corral. Tell you what, I'm always a fan whenever there is full court defense. But it's a bit of a marathon, isn't it, on this? I mean, this is a 5-day tournament compared to the 6 days, but that is a long time.
Yeah, 2 games a day. As a coach, if that's your strategy and your strengths, yeah, you're not worried about them getting fatigued, you're into it.
Do you think as well, if you're running that kind of strategy that you're saying, we've got a pretty deep bench and we're willing to run all of our players?
Yeah, that definitely could be one of them. I'd say at this stage of the season, all of these players would be very fit and ready to go. I'd say you'd probably be putting full court pressure on
as Lewis puts up the shot and another offensive rebound. As Edwards there with a tough finish, a little runner.
Beautiful floater. Yeah, the other strategy is if they don't feel like the other team can handle the ball that well, then they'd want to pressure them early on and create turnovers, speed the game up.
Tough look there for Bright, and here come Taiatea. Oh, lovely move there from Lewis.
Oh, Lewis with a great little hesitation before the crossover back to the right hand.
And I know it's very early, but she's already been a massive bright spark here for a team.
Yeah, one to look out for.
Tough drive again there from Bright. And they're not finding any easy shots at the moment. Just slowing things up into the high post. Good pivot, rotation. And Lewis, what a finish.
Just as you said, Andrew, she's definitely going to be one to look out for in this game. 5 points early on.
Anytime you can get a kuru whiwhi toru early on, especially in on the live stream, it's going to do wonders, not just for the rest of the game, but for the rest of your tournament. Great drive and kick. Bright again. No good from the wing, and save to the opposition player. And away comes Rolliston Gabel. Again into Lewis. Looks like everything's going to run through her for Taiatea Wharekura. And it looks like Wahine to Wahine defense now. Quick toru attempt. And Bright with the rebound. Here come Opunake. Good kick ahead. And the shot. We're short on that one. Lovely put back.
What's that? Number 34 for
Paige
Opunake.
Taylor.
Paige Taylor, great post move. Little slide dribble to the middle, spin to the left hand. Taiatea, I think Opunake is still in that zone, and Taiatea moving the ball well and getting some good internal passing.
Turnover there. It almost looked on their zone like they've switched into a 1-2-2. Let's see how they... No, back into the 2-3. Here is Edwards. Into the high post. Rolliston Gabel. Great move to the hoop. And we're going to see a timeout for Opunake. So, Stace, if you're the Opunake head coach, what's your message going to be here?
Yeah, look, if I'm the Opunake head coach, I'm probably not happy with the internal posters into the high post. If you're running the 2-3 zone, you really, as an offensive strategy, getting the ball to the high post is good. That's going to collapse the defense. So, as you see there, number 10 from Taiatea with a great catch on the high post and driving to her right hand. Here's another great shot of it. So you just can't let players catch the ball in the keyhole. They've got to be contested and force them to catch it off balance or in a negative.
What about offensively? They've had a lot of contested shots. What's one thing that you've seen from them so far that they could do to open up some easier shots?
For Opunake?
Yep.
Yeah, they've penetrated well, and the help defense for Taiatea has been pretty good. They're collapsing onto the ball. So probably just look to kick it out and take the easy open shot once they draw the defense.
And then from Taiatea, is it just more of the same, or are there any adjustments you'd like to make out of there for them?
More of the same, I'd say, for them. More of the same. Keep moving the ball.
Right, full court pressure here from Taiatea. And away come Opunake. Fakes the handoff and pulls up, and the kuru whiwhi toru. Big shot there from Anna Bright.
Oh, she was the defender went under the screen on that, and she didn't hesitate at all to pull the trigger.
When you played, did you ever find it a bit disrespectful if players did that to you? Or were you just wanting to get to the rim the whole time?
Yeah, I always took it on as a challenge if they stepped off and let you shoot it. Quite often I shot it at times I probably shouldn't have.
Great find there. And corner two, no good, Paige Taylor. And
again, some great ball movement though. You can't be disappointed with that offense.
I mean, I know they talk about it now a lot in youth basketball in New Zealand about the dominoes and making the dominoes fall. And they did a pretty good job there of dominoes. So let's see what they can do on their next position.
Much better defense on the person cutting to the high post on that time.
Little drive, good kick out to the weak side corner. Thought they might have had a shot there. But it's going to be up to Bright. Can she create anything? 2 seconds on the shot clock, puts it up. And that's going to end up being a shot clock violation. I'll tell you what, Stace, even though they didn't get anything out of that position, they're still creating some decent actions that are giving them opportunities that are going to come later in the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Body's on the floor.
Body's on the floor. Bit of full court pressure there.
Good ball movement here from Taiatea. Going from corner to corner. Shot clock winding down, little step through shot, and good there from Rebecca Edwards.
And Bright's heading back down the floor again. It's a dribble handoff.
Nice little off-ball action there. Went for the back cut, wasn't on, so came back over, and now we'll go to the line.
It's a great read by young Bethany Cook. I had the pleasure of coaching this young lady back in the Korus, and absolutely, that's a great read. Look for the back door, didn't get it, came straight back off the handoff, and he almost set her up for a better position. Now's the first free throw.
Now you're bringing in coaching Korus. How'd you go on that tour?
The girls were fantastic. I was fortunate enough to coach the girls. I think we didn't lose a game.
Whew. Okay, now I know every time out we're going to get some pretty onto it insight from you, Stace. As it looks like we've got a shot clock error. It started running early.
And that was more of a reflection of the talent of the girls than the coaching staff.
Humble till the end. I tell you what, there's nothing worse than being on a school bench and having a non-responsive 24-second clock. Because everyone always thinks it's your mistake.
Certainly the hardest job, the 24-second shot clock.
Derek, I reckon sheet, when they used to have, now that we've got Glory League, it's a lot easier, but when they used to have the sheet, every time we were on duty, I was running the other way.
Well, back when you were probably in nappies, we used to have to write the minutes down that every point was scored as well. There was a middle column for the minutes, and every time you had a foul, you'd write the minute in. So you could trace everything back on the score sheet perfectly. It was really good. Lewis with the ball again.
Again, back in that 2-3 zone from Opunake. Great ball movement there from Taiatea. And no good on the attempt. Little jostle for the rebound. And that's going to say Taiatea ball.
Well, Opunake done a good job stopping the passing into the high post, but they got another one in there that time. Let's see if they continue to do that. I think the trouble's happening is when we're passed to the wing, the baseline forward on the zone's coming out. Great drive down the middle, bit of contact.
Referee deeming that came off the defender.
So when they get the ball to the wing and they pull out the baseline defender, that's opening up the middle quite a lot. So let's see if Taiatea can take advantage of that.
Great steal, and away comes Cook for Opunake. Little hesitation dribble. And just got herself into a bad angle. Away comes Taiatea with the left hand. Yes.
Oh, beautiful touch.
Anytime there are friendly hoops on a court, we like that. Here is Bright. Puts her head down, loses the dribble. And it's going to be a jump ball, and it's going to be a turnover. I'll tell you what, one thing I love, having been around a little bit of 3x3 lately, is that jump balls always go to the defense. And I would love for that rule to come. And obviously the tough thing is once the ball hits the rim, no possession can be garnered. It makes it tough. But I think on those situations, anytime the defense gets the ball and gets rewarded for hustle and effort, I think that's a good thing. Yeah,
look, I agree. The game is designed so much that the offensive player has the advantage most of the time. It would be good to swing it back the other way.
And rebound there, Cook, and she is going to be fouled by Tapaya Mao.
Again, Andrew, I used to play in the day when, if it was a tie ball, we would go into the circle, the free throw line, and toss it up again and have another tip-off.
Now, believe it or not, I actually remember those days. I think When did I last stop doing it? Maybe, I think first year of high school actually was the first time they got rid of that rule.
Okay.
2006. I know my old high school coach, Ken Coulson, who I saw down here before, he's going to let me know if that is incorrect information I'm giving out. Here is Cook, baseline. Great find. And just swarming bodies, back to Cook. And it seems like the other end is the kinder of the two rims at the moment. Here come Taiatea. And shout out to GJ Gardner-Holmes on that shot. So that was blocked, so it's going to say Taiatea ball, 18 seconds on the shot clock, little stack formation. It's always a funny one, isn't it? Because I feel like a lot of out-of-bounds plays are designed for woman-to-woman defense. So when it's a zone look,
yeah,
it throws everything out. Right, here comes Bright for Opunake. Great fake of the handoff to the hoop. Lovely finish there from Cook. And you talked about it before, didn't you? You know, they set up the other way where she faked the back door and came back the other way. This time, the back door works.
Yeah.
Good block there from Bright again. She has been everything for Opunake.
Oh, look at that. Great pass.
And just decides to pull out of it, step through. And no good there from Georgia Symes.
If I'm the Opunake coach, I'm not too worried at the moment. They've had some really good shots. They're just not quite dropping. We're getting some good looks.
Here comes Cook to the hoop, and late whistle there from the referee. And good to see the correct referee, because sometimes, I mean, you've got those 6 different zones, right, for referees that they can get muddled, but the trail referee, they're making the correct call. So Opunake, because I'm assuming that Taiatea is going to hold for the last shot. If they can get this back to 6 points at quarter time, they're going to be pretty stoked.
Yeah. Feels like the momentum's kind of swung more towards Opunake in the last few minutes. That confidence will be building. So when they had a bit of better space, a bit more space, getting better shots.
And getting into proper actions rather than kind of faking them. Right, so Taiatea, are they going to hold for the last shot? Yes, it looks like they've worked out. 5 seconds to go to the rim. Rebound is too late. So at quarter time here in the first game of the live stream, we've got Taiatea, Wharekura up 17-10 over Opunake. And we'll start with Taiatea first ace. From their coaching perspective, what are some good things? What are some things they might want to work on and talk about here?
Yeah, well, they've been moving the ball well on offense, and again, probably go back to trying to get the ball onto the wing where they can draw out one of the bottom defenders in the zone, and that opens up the middle a lot for them. I'd like to see, was it Lewis? I'd like to see her get out and running a little bit more with the ball. She's with that left hand, she's looking great doing that. And defensively, yeah, I think we'd just not overplay those handoffs, because clearly Opunake are going to be looking for those. You don't want to be giving up layups, certainly putting pressure on them, but not giving up, jumping out into the lane and giving up the back doors.
Flipping it to the other side for Opunake, some good and some bad. Turned it around after that timeout. What other things do you think they can work on to claw their way back into this one? I
think you mentioned it, Andrew, is to try and get into some actions that are more familiar and the spacings that they set up as part of their strategies for offense. We've seen them take some sort of impromptu drives and a few bumps that have kept them off balance, and it's kind of thrown them out. But yeah, and then probably taking a little bit more time on their shots. They have been getting some good opportunities, just not going down.
Good to see Rob Waddell out there fixing up the sponsors product. First time actually meeting Rob. What an absolute mountain of a man.
And he'd probably feel right at home in this environment.
That's a good point.
He'd probably have to look up to a few people.
Right, so just about to get underway here in the second quarter.
Great to see a legend like that showing humility and coming in and doing the hard work, eh?
It's like they're saying, right, if you want a job well done, do it yourself. But no, it is awesome that a New Zealand sporting legend is first down here, and then secondly, he's putting in the hard work to make sure that the right people are getting looked after.
Yeah.
Right, so we did have that jump ball partway through the first quarter, so it's going to be Opunake ball.
Lily Bright, hey, she's got a great skill set. Here she is. She's going to be basically playing point guard. She's in the back of the zone. She's blocking shots. She's leading the fast break. She's shooting threes. She's doing initiating handoffs.
Right, so here comes Bright. Looks like a bit of a horns action here for Opunake. Kick out to the corner to Cook. I don't know if you caught that little back screen there on the weak side. Getting in some good actions here into the on-ball. Bright 4-2. Oh. And I don't think you could have stripped it a better first possession of the second quarter there, Stace.
Yeah, you'd have to be happy with that start.
Here is Taiatea. Good ball rotation again from Taiatea. Just assessing to the rim. And away come Opunake. And just pulling things up again. Oh, great give and go there for Bright. The swing pass almost paid off. And that's going to be Taiatea ball. Let's have another look at that. Trying to find the cutter. Off the head as well, the old Falcon.
It was a little bit late. It was a little bit late, that one. A little bit of pressure.
Here is Lewis on the weak side. And again, they're just having a little bit of trouble, but they find that opening in the middle.
Great box out there from number 34 from Opunake, Paige Taylor.
Paige Taylor's been probably the third one that's really impressed me for Opunake. It's been Cook and Bright. As we see a Toto attempt there, but a little sloppy with the handle. And Opunake's going to have a second go at this. Bright with the deep Korufifi Toru. And suddenly 1 point game stays. As you said, the tide has turned. It's all Opunake at the moment.
And they're in a wahine to wahine. No, they're back in the zone, sorry.
Nice little floater there, short. And great kick out pass to Cook. And Cook's just going to pull things out into the turnover. Away comes Lewis. Will she go herself? Yes, she will. Little skip step. And that is going to be Opunake ball.
I think that was number 6, Ripeka Edwards. Yeah, showing some good footwork there, Ripeka.
Yeah, you talk about wahine to wahine and then zone looks. I remember coaching under Kevin Braswell, he always had a rule. Sometimes it would be 2 passes in a zone look and then change to a man look.
Oh, nice.
Try and waste a few seconds of the shot clock, making the other teams think about it. Opunake up top. Nice little spit pivot. Here is Cook. Puts her head down. Goes long off glass. And what's the decision there? Referee has blown the whistle.
I think we got a shot clock violation. I think didn't quite hit the rim. That's what they're calling.
Right, here comes Lewis into Taiatea. Great ball movement there. And the baby hook shot. Just leaving that one short, but good wall up. And a nice easy finish for Rolleston Gabel. Anytime you can get easy buckets like those in a tight game, oh, those are gold.
We've got 3 first cousins here with Caitlin Hennemeyer and Sina.
Here comes Edwards. Great kick ahead pass. And short again on the layup attempt. I just love the ball movement from Taiatea. Not quite converting, but they're going to score a lot of points if they keep moving the ball like that. As we see, foul called, and Cook's going to go to the line.
Yeah, it's almost like a good replay here. Here we go, Bethany Hook taking it strong, using the outside hand, taking the contact with the body on the right sand and finishing with the left. If you're out there watching, there's some great fundamentals there. It's such a sport where you've got to have both hands. You know, it's just gone are the days where you can play the sport with one hand. So any young kids out there listening, that's the first thing you got to work on is your weak hand. At least be able to make a layup with both hands.
As we're going to see a timeout taken on the floor for Taiatea, Stace. They're moving the ball well, they're just not converting. Is there anything that you talk to them about regarding that to help the ball go through the hoop? Well,
I think just keep shooting, you know, and crash the boards. you know you're missing, but they're doing the right things. Again, this is how it was for Opunake in the first half. They were doing the right things, but things weren't dropping. Well, Taiatea is moving the ball well. They're catching the ball in the paint. And, you know, those shots are under pressure, and I guess that's been sort of a change in basketball strategy over the last few years, is taking a pressured two shot is perhaps not such a great idea anymore. We're rather to kick it out for an easier shot. So, yeah, there doesn't look to be much movement once the ball goes in. So, yeah, put it up and go get the rebound. And then pressure the outlet pass again like they did. That was pretty successful when they trapped the person with the rebound trying to outlet it.
I have this conversation all the time with my friends. Like, I feel defenses now are so geared towards either stopping threes and stopping layups that it's almost going to get to the point where the mid-range game is going to be so open that it's going to be a bad shot not to take that shot.
Yeah, look, I'm so old school myself that's how my strategy is for all my teams, is that they don't want you to shoot the corner three, and they'll you know, protect the layup in the corner three. So yeah, that's a good strategy, I think, to go for the mid ranges, as long as they're not contested. You know, you got to, and that's always hard at this level when you're developing on when to take that shot and when not to, and sticking with your skill set, I suppose.
We were talking about before about age groups we've coached. Obviously, you've coached under 13, so you'd know the good old pack defense and how hard it can be sometimes if you've got smaller kids in that age group, especially to score, because you don't have the strength to really spread the floor with the shot. So if kids can protect the basket at that age group, then that is absolute gold.
Yeah. Must say, with the change in the game and you know what Steph Curry really has done to the game, is kids are practicing it a lot, and they're certainly better at shooting threes than when I was young.
Oh man, I was insane. I took a team to Melbourne January 2020, so just before COVID. We played this team from Adelaide, and they were all tiny. They were still under 13s. I think they shot 47% from three that game, and they made about 14 threes in the game. It was just ridiculous, because it went against all the pack principles, and we got absolutely decked. But it was good fun and an eye-opening experience. There's good steal there for Opunake, and that's going to be a pretty easy foul.
Well, she's been on the floor a few times, Bethany, and you can expect her to be on the floor a few more times. Number 25, Bethany Cook. I'd like to see Taiatea put a bit more pressure on, especially with Lily Bright doing so much work. If she's going to bring it up, I'd be picking her up full court, getting her tired for the last quarter.
Well, this is the thing, when you talked about it making players tired, it might not show in quarter one or quarter two, but you get to quarter three, quarter four, as we see a great block there from Rolliston Gabel, and away come Taiatea. Big kick ahead pass. And obviously been watching my NFL fantasy team this morning, because that was not converted. As we see another look at that block.
Great block, and the presence of mind not to stop, but to rip the ball back and then look to fast break.
Always impressive if a player blocks it and keeps it in play. I know you always want the highlight player, but going about 7 rows back. But anytime you can give your team an advantage off a block, it's a great thing. Here's Cook, great kick out pass, set shot for the Toru. And here come Taiatea. But again, good to see some full court pressure from Opunake. Here is Lewis, swings it to the corner. Or here, back to Lewis.
Here we go, Wahine to Wahine. They have switched it up.
Great little floater there from Lewis.
And here we go, straight into full court pressure. Trying to take her away from her strong hand, but she's going to go right.
It's funny you talk about strong hands and weak hands at this age group. I was chatting to, as we see, and one there from Bright. And she's going to go to the line. I was chatting to Josh Davis, who's assisting Westlake boys this week, as we had another look at it. And we're talking about scouting reports and how you build scouting reports at this age group. And he's like, yeah, just force them on their weak hand. It's always the basis of how he starts off with it. And converts the and-one, does Anna Bright. So here come Taiatea.
Into a little bit of a half-court trap there, a 1-2-2 trap.
And it's paid off already in spades with a big steal there.
Nice little strategic change there by coach from Opunake.
And well timed as well, because you know sometimes you can show those looks early in the game and then you can't spring them as a surprise later on. So to use it in the second quarter, got what they wanted. And then Taiatea there blowing up the dribble handoff situation for Opunake. Well, we can see why this was a third and fourth playoff, can't we?
Mm.
And off glass goes Edwards. Always good whenever the bank's open on a Monday morning. Get in there early, get in there often. Here is Bright off the side on ball for Opunake, comes back. Good kick out. Cook looks to respond, no good. And away come Taiatea. Good kick ahead pass there. I quite like the old 4-out, 1-in. It's working quite effectively for them, as we see there Roller Singabell off glass.
Again, from a corner pass, from a wing to the corner pass, and they're pulling out the defender and leaving the middle wide open.
I just find it interesting now, Stace, that 2-3 seems to be the most fashionable of the zones. When I was in school, it was always the 3-2 was the most used one. And then the one that always gets me is we're going to see a jump ball situation here that Paul Hinare always used for the Tall Blacks, the 1-3-1, because I don't know many coaches that create a play against the 1-3-1.
Yeah, I can remember playing lots of different zones back when we were younger, and pretty much one of my favourite coaches back then, Joe Frost, taught us, you know, just to, if they had an odd front, then we had an even front. If they had an even front, then we had an odd front. So we just always offset it and position ourselves in the seams. I loved any kind of zone because it meant you could shoot whenever you wanted, three-pointers.
It's good to see Joe down here as well. Of course, you can always hear his booming voice from about 4 courts away.
Well, he's on the bench these times. He's volunteering most of the time. It's been he's been such a stalwart for basketball in Palmerston North here. Certainly from my era, a lot of players that fell in love with the game because of him.
And see Horn's action there doesn't work, and away come Edwards. Lovely kick ahead pass and can't be corralled.
And we see that so often in New Zealand, don't we, with lots of different coaches making such huge impacts on their communities just from you know, what they give back and the time and effort they give.
Well, I mean, it's not just local communities as well. Some are lucky enough to have impacts across the board. As you said, like Korutua's kids from all around the country that can be impacted. I think that's an awesome opportunity, especially when you come to tournaments like this and you get to see those kids. It's good to hash back on some memories.
Edwards with the shot clock running down.
Little mini hook there again, but it doesn't hit anything, so that's going to be Opunake ball.
That's who you'd want to have the ball, I think, though, in the last few seconds, either Edwards or Lewis, to be able to create something. The shot clock running down. Great to see two different types of presses here. We've got a full court press, wahine to wahine, and then we've got a zone from Opunake. 1-2-2.
I wasn't quite expecting the kick out there. Was Bella Pivac. So here is Bright on the left wing, crossover, kick out to Cook. And the Koruwhiwhi Toru. And that is a big shot to get that back to 2 points, Stace.
Bethan will be happy to get that one. She's missed a couple. And that was a big shot. Great confidence.
Edwards responds. And as you said, you want the ball in her hands. And it pays off on that possession for Taiatea.
Just a bit of passive pressure here. They're not really... They're up. They're not really... Once the ball's in, they're sort of backing off.
Hornslook rejects left, goes right, spin, pivot, Pivac, kicks it on to Cook.
Oh, yes.
Good step through. And Wollaston Gabel there with the rebound. 4 defensive players, goes through all of them in the front court. 3-on-1 situation. Good unselfish play, just can't convert. Here is Edwards with the floater. That one's short as well. Got away with one there, Opunake, I felt.
Yeah. Now Taiatea won't be happy with the execution on that 4-on-1 play.
As Cook just misses Pivac on that one.
But hey, they're stepping up to the challenge, you know. Opunake's putting a bit of pressure, and they're saying, well, okay, we'll dribble through you, and then we'll fast break and we'll take it. So I think that's a good strategy. They're just unfortunate to miss the layup. Last 40 seconds. Quick 2-for-1 here. Can they recognise?
Great ball moving again into the high post. Finds the cutter. Good up fake. Up and in. Lovely finish there from Ohia. I'm always a fan of that. Anytime you can hit the high post and bring defenders up to you to create gaps, that is wonderful execution.
Yeah, Ohia with a great pump fake, wasn't it?
Here is Bright on the right wing. Takes a lot of contact. And she will go to the hoop. Not a lot of fouls called so far in this first half.
No. Initially a great defense there by Caitlin Gable. Here, cutting off the baseline, but just a little bit slow moving with the hips after she come back.
So Bright on the first converts. Gets us down to a 5-point game.
Look, what I love about Lily's game is she's attacking the rim, she's shooting outside shots. It's always good to get to the foul line as a shooter, to get some free shots, practice, get your eye and get some rhythm. And she's just really dominating this game.
Final shot potentially of the first half is no good from Rapika Edwards. So halftime here, Taiatea 30, Opunake 26. Stace, what's your takeaway been from that first half?
Oh yeah, what a great start. We've seen a few different strategy changes from the coaches to try and outthink the other team and surprise them. Both have been effective. We've seen Opunake make some adjustments to their defence, only for a short time really. Then I think Taiatea have continued with their movement and really the momentum sort of swung back to them again after that great comeback from Opunake.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with you for the second half.
Okay guys, twice to sell. You've got pasta as well, come and sell. Ladies and gentlemen,
this isn't about what we wore back in the day.
We're going to go now, going once, going twice, no more offers. Sold!
It's about being trusted to get a better result for our clients since 1973.
Whoops, running on empty? Enjoy a 6 cents per litre fuel discount at your local Caltex with Pumped every day. Ah, feels good, eh? Get it at any participating Caltex.
Welcome back here to Fly Palmy Arena for Game 1 of the live stream of Day 1. We've got Taiatea Wharekura up 30 over Opunake High School 26. Of course, if you are around the other courts and you've got some scores, please send them through to me. I'd love to update everyone listening at home. It's quite an awesome place, isn't it? You've got about 10 different courts going at the same time, which means you kind of just look at the scoreboard, see which game's close, and that's the court that you're usually going to deliberate around. Key players as we welcome back Stace into the commentary box for Taiatea. Edwards and Lewis have really been the standout, as well as Rolleston Gabel, and then for Opunake it's been the Brighton Cook show.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? I'd really like to see some more dribble handoff action between them, with Bethany making some really good reads. And another standout also for Opunake, Paige Taylor. She's been doing some good work on the post there, boxing out, moving around. Yeah.
So from a tactical side of view, I know it's been pretty close, but if we start on the Opunake side, what adjustments do you think that they could make to not only try and come back and take a lead in this game, but then potentially push that lead out?
Yeah, I definitely think there's some opportunities for some turnovers. I think their 1-2-2 press, their half-court press, could be effective. And then when they do get through the press, I think there seems to be so many holes in that defence. That zone is getting stretched wide, so Taiatea are doing a great job in stretching the defence by getting some ball reversal. And then cutting over the top. So Opunake just need to move a little quicker with the ball. Move with the pass. And make sure cutters are cutting behind them. Yeah, and then offensively, I think for Opunake, carrying on with trying to create some space for Lily Bright and Bethany Cook to create some more opportunities for them.
And then for Taiatea, I feel like it was a half of missed opportunities. They were creating so many things through their ball movement. Are there any adjustments that you reckon they could make for that?
Yeah, look, as a coach, you've got to be happy because you're stretching the defence. You're just not quite making the shots. You just got to have confidence and belief that you're going to make that shot. And just take that little split second longer and really concentrate. Make it count.
We're only seconds away here from second half action. Taiatea Wharekura up against Opunake High School. And it's going to be, with the change of ends, Taiatea ball.
I thought we might have got a replay of Te Aho Maiohia's great pump fake on that in the second quarter, but unfortunately didn't. I did want to mention it. It's been my favourite move so far.
As we see, more zone defense there from Opunake. Good ball movement again from Taiatea. And Cook almost got the steal. It's going to be less than 10 seconds on the shot clock. Here is Edwards with the floater short. Gets her own rebound with the reset clock. And great step through and shot there from Caitlin Gable.
Great finish from Caitlin Gable after an excellent first defensive play from Opunake, and a great drive there again from Paige Taylor. Unlucky for that one not to drop.
Here is Edwards, gives it over to Lewis. Great ball movement here from Taiatea. Gable off this little handoff, and she's going to go to the line. Perfect offensive start, you could say, from Taiatea on both positions as we have another look at it.
All right, taking it strong to the body. Even though she's the smallest player on the court by the looks of it, she's not scared to get in there.
Gable misses the first.
I like to see players attacking the hoop, attacking the body. putting pressure on the referee to make the calls, and quite often it goes in favour of the offensive player.
Gable makes the second, and Taiatea now out to a 7-point lead early here in the third quarter. And a steal for Lewis. She is fouled and won. Wonderful finish there.
With a weak hand too.
Always like to see that. Go up strong with two hands. Get bumped, take the contact, finish. And she will miss the and one. I like to call it the old-fashioned three-pointer.
Opunake really want to get a basket here.
And they go to the hoop and get fouled. Well done there from Jamie Wharekura. And that's what you need, isn't it? It's, sometimes as a coach as well, when you're looking to take a timeout, if you can get fouled, go to the line, it takes about that minute as well. That's a way we can get a couple messages across and try and reset some things. And misses both. Rebound Ohea, and away come Taiatea through Edwards. Good ball movement again, just the cutting, creating space. As we see Wahine to Wahine defense. Edwards with the floater again, and she is fouled.
That constant movement is just causing troubles for Opunake, aren't they? Might maybe see them switch back to their zone soon.
I think Opunake only fouled once in that second quarter, so to already have 3 in the first 1 minute and 34 seconds. It's as an opposition player and coach and supporter, it's a pleasing sight to see. Edwards there makes the first, out to a 10-point lead now.
Yeah, Opunake really need to get a good score here. It's the lead starting to stretch out.
And didn't even hit the rim on that second one, so that'll be sideline ball.
Nonetheless, Lewis just did a beautiful right-hand reverse layup.
Hey, anytime you can work on the fundamentals, as we see
Great
a great show there from Taiatea, and somehow we almost had an escape from Opunake. I think that press was too good not to get rewarded with the turnover.
Yeah.
Good ball movement and cutting again from Taiatea. Finds Ohio, little floater in the corner, and that is no good. Rebound for Paige Taylor from Opunake. What can they come
Georgia
up there?
Symes with a handoff to Bethany Cook. Here goes Paige Taylor.
Oh, great little head shake there, and that would have been a wonderful finish, but here with the rebound away come Taiatea. Edwards on the left wing. Such great ball reversal again. Lewis. Thought that pass wasn't going to get there, finds a teammate. And away come Opunake with the steal there. Great kick ahead. Almost like a little rugby handoff there on that one. As we see subs coming in for Opunake. Right, so what can they draw up out of this baseline inbounds? Little diamond set. And the setup finds the player in the block. And now just resetting with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Bright, little Dirk, one-legged fadeaway. And away comes Edwards for Taiatea. Great little dish and finish there from Tapaya Mau.
Great finish off the Edwards pass.
Well, any time as a post player that you can get rewarded for the hard work, it makes life for the guard easy as well, because you know that if you give it to them, they're going to want to keep working hard. As lovely finish there from Cook.
Bethany Cook again mopping up the floor.
Taiatea. It's interesting, they're getting a lot of I feel, open catches on the three-point line, but not really looking for it. As we see, that's White. Beautiful ball movement. And Edwards strong on the attempt. Rebound, Lewis. Still 9 seconds on the shot clock. The Toru attempt, no good. Away come Opunake. Good kick ahead. Mid-range jumper.
Oh.
And that's a bucket.
Bethany Cook with the confidence to step back.
Lewis, great kick into the corner. But it seems like every time they're getting a cut at the moment, there seems to be a bit of hole within that Opunake 2-3 zone. Shot there on the attempt. Oh, here comes Bethany Cook. Great kick ahead pass. Paige Taylor. And it rims around. Rebound, Pivac. Here comes Bright. Up against Lewis, just gets into that corner, gets caught. And somehow ended up in the hands of Paige Taylor. And we are going to see a timeout here. Taiatea. Stace, what are they going to want to talk about here?
Yeah, open the momentum's probably how are we going to get the momentum back here? So obviously Bethany's just gotten we've had a couple of quick scores, a couple of layups, a couple of jump shots. So they're on a bit of a roll. They've got the momentum back. So I guess they've used that timeout more as a stopper of momentum, and come back in and regather them. But most of the timeouts, it's Opunake who's been coming out and really applying something really good. So let's see how Taiatea come out of this one and adjust to this run that Opunake are making.
You talk about coming out of timeouts a little bit stronger. Yourself as a coach, what are some of the buzzwords you like to use at the end of a timeout to try and energize your team?
Yeah, it's probably not so much energizing the team, but more refocusing their minds, try and not give them too much information. Give them a couple of things to focus on and actually give them time to communicate to each other. Because quite often there's not a lot of time to communicate on the court. And when you get into this age, these guys do know a little bit about the game and see a lot and feel a lot out on the court that you don't see.
I found it a really interesting rule change this year in the Women's Tauhi League, having those player timeouts where coaches weren't allowed in at all, and it could only be the players on the court. I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. I actually saw a very interesting rule change that they put into the Spanish ACB League this year, where any inbound in the back court, it doesn't have to touch a referee.
Wow.
So if there's a turnover, you can just grab the ball and go straight away. So I'm going to be following that one with interest, because if that becomes a worldwide rule, I'm looking forward to seeing how some teams try and take away the advantage out of that.
Yeah.
Toru attempt, good. Big Korupipi Toru there from Anna Bright. And as you said, Opunake coming out the strongest of the two out of the timeout.
Well, she was trailing on the play there and she got lost. And that's the player you wouldn't want to get lost on.
Keeps the dribble alive. And that's going to be called travel there.
Let's see if Taiatea keep the full court pressure here, try and create some turnovers, get some easy looks.
Let's have another look at that. Toru didn't even touch the rim.
It's got a beautiful shot, hasn't she? It's pretty to watch. I mean, Reggie Miller's shot used to go in, but it wasn't pretty to watch.
I disagree, man.
The follow through.
He was probably my favourite player as a kid when I was real young. All the stories of the backyard battles he'd have with his sister.
Oh, yeah.
Cook, little floater off glass. That's large off the rim. Rebound Mau. And here come Taiatea through Edwards. Good ball movement again. Rip and drive. Pivac with the steal. Here comes Cook. Now a 3-on-2, 3-on-3. Cook all the way to the hoop, off left rim. And we're going to see double dribble called there up against Taiatea. And it's those kind of advantages, isn't it, Stace? So you got those 2-on-2, 3-on-3 situations that they're going to have to take advantage of moving forward. They've trailed a lot of the game, so To try and create a lead and then maintain a lead, you've got to convert those chances.
Exactly.
Wayward pass there, and away come Taiatea. Through Lewis, one of the key ball handlers here for Taiatea. Edwards, little step through. I don't know how she got that shot off. She found room there when I didn't think there was any. Edwards again, floater. Seems to be her patented shot in this game. A beautiful finish there from Ma'u.
Ma'u's starting to make a presence in this game with some offensive rebounds.
Good little step through and foul.
She's just finding a way to get to the hole, isn't she? She's using the hesitation dribble excellent, getting her head and shoulder in front, drawing the contact. This might be the 4th time she's gone to the line tonight. And no better way to get your eye in than go to the free throw line.
Absolutely.
Most of the greatest players get, you know, 9 or 10 free throw attempts a game.
Cook no good with the second. Rebound Ma'u.
Probably happy Taiatea giving up 1 point there.
Were you one of those players that any time a player missed the first free throw, you're like, yep, good foul?
Yeah, absolutely.
Edwards from the right wing. Off back iron. Again, another rebound there for Lewis. Edwards looking for her floater and finds it.
It was only a matter of time before that 1 foot floater was going to go. Just a little bit more time on that one. But penetrating with ease against the Opunake defense here, they're going to have to sort that out.
Well, she's doing such a wonderful job of getting past that first line so quickly that by the time the second line comes, she's already putting the shot up. Here is Lewis, just decides to slow things up.
Opunake did a great job getting back there. All 5 players.
Edwards thinks about the toru there, decides against it. Lewis on the left wing. Great find to Edwards. Right corner. And up and in there from Lewis.
Tiaho Mai Ohia did a great job to box out, which actually cleared the rebound for someone else.
And it looks like a little bit of an ankle injury there for Cook. We'll see how that goes.
After an outstanding in and out dribble there, completely faked out the defense.
Lewis, left-hand floater, no good. And Mo trying to fight that one back, but just stepped on the line when she was trying to toss it back in.
Great awareness from Lewis to attack the injured Bethany Cook on the dribble, recognising she was a bit sore. But to Narval.
Not coming out of the game yet is Bethany Cook. Deciding to try and play through this one. Here's Bright. Pulls up from the mid-range. Bucket. Anytime you see a player just set their feet like that, you know it's good, right?
She's just got some great fundamentals. She's great to watch. I'm just smiling from ear to ear after that move. I mean, what more can you do when the defense backs off? Step back, take the easy shot.
Big heave there for 3. And we're into the last minute here. Here comes Cook. Out on the fast break, and she will be fouled. And that foul will be against Maya Graham.
The ankle looked okay on that time, Andrew. I think she's shaking it off. She's a tough one.
That's one of those ones, right, where it hurts and then you get an opportunity like that and you're like, oh, I can play through this.
Especially when you got nearly like 6 to 8 points in the quarter, eh? You didn't want to come out, you're on a roll. And she is really causing havoc for Taiatea in the fast break.
Misses both, so maybe the ankle is still a little bit sore. Strap for the rebound. Ma with the one is the one that comes away with it. Again, great use of the pivot from Taiatea. Little rip and go, up and in. Beautiful finish from Taupiki. I feel like that's what their trainings must just consist of the entire time. Good ball rotation, driving kicks, and then floaters.
It seems so natural, doesn't it? Like second nature. But short on that one.
I think that one was blocked though. So good defense to close out on that. Here comes Lewis to finish the quarter. Yes.
Great change of angle. Created a nice little space for her on the left. She comes into the middle, bit of a Euro step. Great defense by Bethany Cook, nevertheless. Tough shot. What a way to end the quarter. And geez, if you're Opunake, you feel like you had a bit more momentum in that quarter when you look at the end of the quarter and you're down 8.
I know, it's just those last 2 possessions that got away from them. You know, they had the game on the ropes, you said, back to a 4-point game, feeling happy, good way to end the quarter, and then Taiatea to get those last 2 baskets to finish it. 8-point buffer. Not game over by any stretch of the imagination, but when it comes down to those crunch baskets and you've put those extra 4 points in the bank that you didn't have previously, you've got to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah. They've every time Opunake have come back, they've answered. So it's a good sign of you know, some good resilience there and some good focus.
Sign of a good game as well, and that's what we like.
Absolutely. It is. Well, my prediction's not looking so good right now, although Ngā Taiatea fans can be sitting there smiling.
Still plenty of time.
Ka aroha. I'm
This
sorry.
is one. Of course, I was going back through the old record books as well. Opunake High School, 3 times winner of the single A girls, 2011, 2016, 2017. So if Ngā Taiatea can get the scalp early on, that's a pretty good one to go home with.
Yeah, look, Opunake, I actually spent a little bit of time in there, in that town, going on holidays. It's a fantastic little holiday place. A lot of little rural farming community. And lots of really good facilities. They have an outstanding basketball court. The Opunake High School's got a good gym, and they've got a shooting machine there. I know Angelo Hill, one of the old Americans that we used to play against. He's been coaching there and living there for years. And they've always been solid. They've always had, year after year, consistent teams that compete well at the single A's. Probably not a lot to do in Opunake.
Stace, you just gave this absolutely glowing review of Opunake. I was almost tempted to use some of my yearly holiday to go down there and visit. And then you just bring them crashing to the ground.
Oh, you'll have to go to the surf inn, Andrew, and have a meal there.
What's the go-to meal there?
I like the burger.
The
I
burger?
think it's called the King Burger, something like that.
Oh, we're looking at fish, chicken, beef, vegetarian?
Beef.
Beef burger. All right, here's Pivac for 2. Short on that one. A nice little hook pass there. And Lewis up against the 2 defenders, just split them, but that's going to go straight into the hands of Bright, who's been everywhere for Opunake. Step through and rims that one out. And again, Stace, it's just those little opportunities like that that if they can't convert, make it a little bit tougher on themselves to come back in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be quite disheartening sometimes. You do all the work, all the right things, you just can't get it to drop.
Right, here comes Cook. Out for Opunake. Looks like a 3-on-2 now. Will go herself. And beautiful finish. She wanted the foul. You saw her tapping herself on the head. Referee got caught, but anytime you can finish it, then you do take the referee out of it, right?
And Ma'u showing some fantastic agility to sprint back and guard her all the way and force her into a tough shot.
Lewis, little rip and go off right iron. And away come Opunake. Paige Taylor, great kick ahead pass. Cook waits for the defender to come to her, rip and go. Pivac and Bright and the Koru Fifi Toru. And suddenly we have a ball game again, 3-point game, 8.5 to play. Stace, you can't ask much more than this.
Oh, this is a great game. Lewis answers right back. And if we go back to that, oh, there's another steal. Ngā Taiatea slowing it down, composing themselves.
Well, we were talking about it earlier in the game, weren't we, that the pressure might not always pay off in those first couple of quarters, but if you can stick with it, as away comes Bright for Opunake, you can start getting steal opportunities. Look up, good work, Taylor. And left hand can't convert. That's going to come away, Ngā Taiatea ball.
As we've got some subs coming in, I just wanted to acknowledge number 20 from Opunake, Bella Pivac, she was with a great pass right there to the extra pass. She had an open jumper, recognised her team's possibly the best shooter in the competition. Was waiting on the three-point line, gave it up unselfishly, and that's just what you want to see as coaches, players making the extra pass.
I love that call early. Make a bold call. Right, here is Edwards. Great pivot. Gets it straight back on the boomerang. To that second level, and again the floater. Tauapiki couldn't finish that one, and away's going to come Cook. Again the pivoting. Another Toru attempt, long off the iron. And Edwards, who's been such a calming influence for this Ngā Taiatea team, corralling that rebound. Edwards step through, floater. Fight for the rebound, and away comes Bright. She's going to push it here for Opunake. This double spin move, what a finish. She's putting the team on her back at the moment, Stace.
Oh, that was outstanding move. Great agility.
Found the right move, couldn't find the finish. And once again, it's just put a bit of a lid on that Ngā Taiatea.
I was just thinking the same thing myself. For both ends sometimes.
As Cook, and that one as well with the left hand. No good.
First foul of the quarter. That's always a good way to get a foul on an offensive rebound while you're chasing down an offensive rebound. Not too much disadvantage lost from it.
Not at all. I'll tell you what, it's been a very quick, well, a quick game actually. I mean, there's not been many fouls. We had the 3 fouls in the last quarter from Opunake, but other than that, both teams have done a pretty good job of avoiding the referee's whistle. Great work there from Paige Taylor to sniff that one out. Kick ahead pass, away come Opunake. Mid-range, short. Own rebound, no good. And you've got to be gutted there if you're Georgia Symes. She's done all the hard work, but none of the reward.
Geez, Andrew, I really feel like this game could be like 80 to 77 at this point with all these great moves we've seen, but just shots just not quite dropping in and out. We might have to go and wipe the dust off the top of those rings for the next game.
Well, I mean, as you said, it's probably one of those ones where if this is a day 3 or day 4 game, that probably does end up happening where it's 80 to 77. It's just because it's day 1. Maybe a few cobwebs if they've been in the minivan for too long. Here is Lewis, didn't even think about it, just ripped straight away. Beautiful pass. Good rebound there from Georgia Symes. She's going to kick ahead to Cook. And Cook's going to go back to Symes.
Symes looks very, very solid with the ball. She doesn't look like she's going to turn it over. Stranded at the moment. She's got left stranded there.
We'll take the blame on that turnover, shall we, Stace? Commentator's curse. It won't be the first one, and I tell you what, it will definitely not be the last this week. Here is Edwards. Fight for the rebound. And again, it reminds me a bit of like prime Benji Marshall when you just flick these wonderful passes, but sometimes there wasn't a teammate there. As we're going to see a timeout called on the floor. So, Stace, I'm going to give you 30 seconds for each team. First one, Ngā Taiatea. What are they going to have to do to close this game out?
I think it's going to be for both teams really, just who can make the finishing shots, who can keep the defensive pressure on to force them into those tough shots. But really, who's going to step up, who can take the extra time on the shot, on the shot and make it drop.
We've seen a few zone adjustments and press adjustments from both teams. Would you look at introducing if they've got another one up the sleeve now, or would you have a think back about what's worked for you during the game and stick with that?
Yeah, I think at this stage I'll probably looking back in the game and seeing what's worked well. Depends on whether it's your strategy. I have thought Taiatea look really good in their full court press. I would like to see them do a bit more of that. But for Opunake, I think they probably just want to work on their half court defense and really maybe try and stop some ball reversal, and so the defense doesn't have to shift so much and they're not opening up the middle. Put a little bit more pressure on the wing pass or any kind of reversal. Keep them on one side.
Right, so Taylor there with the inbound as we see the full court pressure that Stace has been asking for. But Bright once again just keeping things calm out of the horn set. Actually both sides rolling there to the hoop. Good movement from Pivac. Here is Cook. 3 seconds on the shot clock, has to heave it, blocked. And away come Taiatea. And Cook almost getting a steal there. It's all happening, Stace.
Oh, great awareness from Ma'o. She knew the shot clock was running down. She knew she could launch at that shot, block the three-pointer.
There's Opunake now just sitting back into that zone. Here is Edwards. Good ball rotation. Taiatea. Oh, what a cut and what a finish. Rolleston Gabel.
That's just beautiful basketball, isn't it?
What I've been so impressed with on their cuts as well is how good the passes have been at leading them into the space. It's never been behind the offensive player. As Taylor there with the little floater back to a one-possession game. It's been really impressive because, I mean, anytime bad passing, it can let you down so massively. So to see great lead passes, it's an exciting thing of signs to come in this tournament.
Yeah.
And again, another good finish there from Rolleston Gabel. She's been a serious bright spark for this Taiatea team. I know we've talked a lot about Edwards and Lewis, but she's really been the glue, especially in the high post, as Cook gets fouled there. A chance to go to the line and get us back to a single possession.
Ma'u taking a quick breather, no doubt, only for a few seconds. With 3 minutes to go and a 5-point lead. We can sure we're going to see her back in the game. Always hard to run those subs in those last few minutes. You don't know, do I let my player play? Does they get the extra foul? Has he got the energy in him now? When do I give him the break? I haven't seen Lily Bright or Bethany Cook have much of a rest tonight, so let's see how they go in this last 3 minutes. They look like they're going strong.
Yeah, that was definitely a defining factor for me as a coach as to why I realised I shouldn't be head coach, because I keep getting the end of game lineups wrong. And when you consistently lose last minute games, you're like, okay, that's on me. That's not on the athletes. Great idea there, looking for teammates. Tessa Cook just couldn't convert it. It just comes into spacing, right? If you could hold that corner, it would have been the perfect pass, but because the cutter, the spacing just got a bit tight. Here is Rapika Edwards. Nice little exchange here on the weak side as well. Thinks about the shot. Oh, what a skip pass. Now Taiatea from the left wing. And Bright's called for the foul.
I feel like the referees have been very consistent and done a great job today on that call. They've it's kind of happened both ends. Actually, looking at that view, that was minimal contact, but again, forcing the referee to make the decision by putting your head down and attacking the contact. And when you're always behind on defense, you're never going to get rewarded for that.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things, right, that with referees, you don't mind sometimes if the incorrect call is made, so long as it's consistent.
Yeah.
There's great pressure there, and Pivac, if she'd caught that, they would have been fine. Tried to pass it back to her teammate, didn't realise she was in the backcourt. And it's going to be a backcourt violation. Still plenty of time here though for Opunake to make a comeback. As the total attempt is long and kick ahead to Cook. I feel like every time there's been an outlet pass today for Opunake, Cook has been on the receiving end of it. Done a wonderful job of putting herself in those positions. Now into a horns action. Nice roll off the on ball. Cook to the hoop. No good. And away comes Lewis. Not looking to waste any clock here at all. To the cutter. Off iron. And again, we talked about it before, those outlet passes finding Cook. Great step through with the right hand. Paige Taylor there finds Cook. It's going to be Bethany Cook. Short. And who wants the ball? And we're going to have a shot travel called. Could have been a travel or a shot clock violation.
You see Bethany Cook there really puffing at the moment. A couple of deep breaths. Taiatea 1 minute 40, up 5. Probably want to have a good look here. No one want to rush a shot or a bad pass.
Well, we see a turnover, so we're going to need to see a good kudu here for Opunake to try and get this game back close. Little hook shot hits the tupper there, and there's going to be a rebound for Taiatea. Again, those pivoting has been fantastic. Lewis finds Edwards. And you'd almost feel, Stace, there hasn't been a lot of now cutting off those passes as a Kurufifi Toru is no good. But they could almost get out and pressure those passes that are one pass away, trying to restrict it. As the Kuru there, no good. And away comes Taiatea.
And wisely pulls it out. Up 5, you want to run as much time off the clock as you can here.
Right, look to see something happening here with 7 seconds. Kurufifi Toru attempt. In and out.
That could have closed it.
But a big offensive rebound. And still there for Cook. 2-on-1 opportunity. Takes the Kuru herself and finishes. And we're going to see a warning there, actually, from the referee. Thought we're going to see a wahiki. Not to be.
15 seconds. I think you probably want to foul here. Stop the clock. Go for some steals.
And we still haven't seen a foul yet. 3 seconds to play. And the block. So game over here in game 1 of the live stream. Taiatea taking down Opunake in girls single A action, 56-53. Stacey Lambert, what'd you make of that one?
Well, that was a great game to watch. We had runs from different teams back and forward. Taiatea just held their composure every time Opunake come back. Some great ball movement, some great internal passing, and some great effort from a lot of players in the team. Obviously, Edwards and Lewis were creating a lot offensively, but Ma'u and Ohio, they were Ohia, they were rebounding like demons. And on the other team, yeah, Opunake. Well, I did back I guess it's kind of like my home team because I have tribal roots there. I thought they had a valiant effort, and just look, all it was a couple of shots here and there. Both teams deserved to win that game.
Right, so looking ahead into our next game, we've got boys AA action, and we're going to have former 2-time champions Rangitoto College up against Scots College. Stace, I know you're not with me in the commentary booth for this one, but if I could get a prediction out of you before you go, which way do you think that one's going to go?
Look, I don't know too much about Rangitoto this year. I think Scots are definitely rebuilding from past years, so I probably would be going with Rangitoto. Yeah, you probably know a little bit more, Andrew, than me about the Rangitoto team.
Yeah, they've had an interesting year, and not just because of their hair colours. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they go. Probably didn't do as well at qualifying as they would have liked, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be back shortly with the boys. AA action, Rangitoto College against Scots. We'll see you then.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
This isn't about long-distance calling, technology, or living overseas.
Do I have one more bid? Thank you.
We're going to go once. We're going twice.
And we are sold to the Kiwi phone bidder from Manchester.
It's about Bailey's finding buyers that others can't.
Kia ora, Lauren Hiblay here from the Tall Ferns. We're out here in Flaxmere Park in Hawke's Bay. We've just opened up this new basketball court for hoops and parks. It's really cool to provide the tamariki with somewhere to go, somewhere to be physically active, play a bit of basketball with their friends. Good asset to the community, especially for those young ones who want to get amongst basketball. So yeah, it's really cool to see us open this new facility in this park that is just beautiful in Hawke's Bay.
Kia ora, Pera Cameron here. Just want to talk a little bit about the Hoops in Parks and the Hoops in Schools program. It's been amazing. The return on investment is priceless. The accessibility for all the kids and the tamariki to get in here and enjoy themselves, especially through these trying times, been amazing. And just to get outside, you know, it's pretty awesome walking outside and seeing this kind of ballpark available. It's great, especially in these times.
Kia ora whānau, Peliri Oli here, Councillor for Flaxmere Ward, Hastings District Council. I'm here to support the initiative today, Hoops and Parks. Very, very amazing result, and it's encouraging our people to come and spend time here, and especially together with the youth. I encourage other councils to jump on board. Yeah.
Kia ora, wāre Tiatu. Really enjoyed it here at the Flaxmere Courts. And looking forward to play again.
We've been waiting for the courts to open for a while now. Now that they're up, I'm glad that they're here for an activity after school. And yeah.
I like that the courts are purple.
What I like about the court is that it's different to many other courts in Flaxmere.
I like these courts because they're in a good position from if you want to go to the park or come here. And I like it because it's easy to bounce the ball and take easy shots.
My name's Ricky Lee. Shout out to everyone that made these courts happen, and yeah, me Naz.
No time to fluff around today? No worries. Just swing into Caltex and pay for fuel with Pay an App to speed on through. Ooh, yeah. Feels good. Use it at your local participating Caltex.